Hi, this is Brennan Davis from Bedrock Games and the Bedrock blog, and today I want to talk about a couple of things I've been reading over at Wuxiaworld, all translated by Deathblade. I should say from the beginning, I know Deathblade, and I have like a connection with him in terms of he's going to be doing a web novel version of Wandering Heroes of Ogregate. So I wanted to disclose that I have that connection. So I'm definitely not completely unbiased. But I first came to this stuff because someone drew Wuxia World to my attention. They drew Deathblade stuff to my attention in particular, and so I started connecting with him because of the work that I saw him doing, and I really liked a lot of his translation stuff. So I think I interviewed him on the blog a while back, and then from there he joined my Wandering Heroes of Ogregate Skype sessions, and so I know him personally, and I'm working with him on a project. But that said, I think he does a really great job at translations, and he sent me a copy of a book called Seven Killers. You guys have probably seen me talk about Gulong in the past. I've read 11th Son, and I talked about The Hero Shed No Tears translation that I read, which was by Deathblade. And this is another great, Gulong mystery story. I really enjoyed it. It's only about 220 pages, and the text is pretty easy. This is not available in print. This was something I guess he printed up, for people to give out as gifts, and he had some left over, and so he sent me a copy. Just because I had been complaining that I don't like reading things online as much. I like to have the paper in my hand. It's just a quirk that I'm slowly getting over, but mainly out of necessity. But I still really like to have the book. So this made it much more easy for me to get into the story. I don't want to talk about the plot because it's a mystery, and every step you're kind of learning new things. And as I was thinking about this, it's a really hard story to give people the breakdown of without spoiling all of the surprises. But it's basically about a character. I think his name is Dong Chung Ji. Lu Zhongji. I don't know if I have it pronounced correctly, but Changji. Uh, and he's a martial hero, and he gets recruited to basically steal a medicine from the ex-wife of another martial hero who's sick and needs the medicine. That's the really quick hint of a plot that I can give you without spoiling anything. So it starts out as a kind of heist story, and it just gets more and more interesting from there. So I won't spoil it, but I really enjoyed it. Great fight scenes, great descriptions, great characterization. I really love the way that Gulong just he just piles on character after character that's interesting. And if you're a game master, or if you're a writer and you are in the habit of making characters regularly, you know how tough that is. And I'm just amazed at how each character always feels like he's given a lot of thought to each one of them and completely fleshed them out, and they're all so stark and interesting and kind of fun. There's a whimsical uh, style to Gulong. I don't think he takes himself so seriously that he can't have fun with the characters, and I think that's important because I enjoy characters that are meant to make you laugh a little bit, and so I think there's a little bit of that in here too. The other thing I liked about this book is in the footnotes, Deathblade he has all these explanations of why he made certain decisions, and it helps clarify, the what the difference is between what I'm seeing on the page as a translation and what a native reader would be seeing. And I found that very helpful because I always wonder that. I'm always curious, well, I know I'm reading this line in English, but what does that sound like to somebody in Chinese? And he kind of alludes to some of that, and I like getting that information. So I found the footnotes very helpful, and I find his footnotes helpful. Generally speaking, in the Hero Shed No Tears book, his footnotes were helpful, and in the Wuxia World web novel that I just started reading, his footnotes have been very helpful. So again, it's Seven Killers. The translation is available online. This is a Wuxia novel by Gulong. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend Heroes Shed No Tears as well. I apologize for my phone ringing. Um, and the other uh, novel that I've been reading is I Shall Seal the Heavens, and this is a immortal hero story. I think the genre is called Xianxia, but I don't know if I have the pronunciation correct. I'm only a few chapters in, but I'm really liking it so far. A lot of the drama series that I've been watching in the past couple of years, I mean, just a lot of the series that have been coming out, have been in that immortal hero genre. And I'm usually more of a wuxia fan. That's usually sort of more where I'm comfortable as a viewer. But I've been getting more and more into the immortal hero genre. And especially after I saw a couple of series about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that just really impressed me. So a lot of the stuff is based on these web novels, and the web novels apparently they're quite popular over there. I don't think it's like here where web novels are kind of more like fan fiction and things like that. So and again, I apologize for my phone beeping. I should have turned it off, but I didn't, and I'm too deep into the video now to go back. So we'll just have to make do. But I find it interesting that these web novels are so popular there, and they often become the basis of television shows. So I've been exploring them more, and I Shall Seal the Heavens is proving really interesting. I'm only a few chapters in, so I really can't give you a big breakdown yet. So far, the main hero has just I'm thinking he's the main hero, maybe he's not, but the character that seems to be the main guy has been absconded by somebody from some sort of immortal sect and made to be a servant that's going to have to work there for 30 years. And he was handed a manual that it looks like he's about to crack open and begin practicing. So it's just at the very beginning. But I just love the way the characters were introduced. I love the character right off the bat. He's sort of forced into servitude. And my understanding, based on what people have told me about this one, is it's kind of unique as a web novel because uh, it has more of an overarching plot, and I guess it takes a lot of the sort of standard tropes that are in the web novel format and turns them on their head or twist them a little bit. So again, that's something that was told to me in advance of reading this, and I don't know. So far, it's really interesting. I'm hooked. There's a lot of chapters. This is 6 books from what I can see, and each book looks like it has about 80 to 90 chapters, maybe give or take. I don't know. The chapters aren't terribly long, but that's still an awful lot. So, and they're serialized, I think. So I think they come out a little bit at a time. I don't know how they do it in China, but the translations have been getting released a little bit at a time. Obviously, on this one, I'm a little behind because I just started reading it, so I'll have to work to catch up to where they are. But yeah, so I'm really loving this stuff. Um, Generally, in the past, I've mainly been more about viewing it, watching it on TV, watching it in movies, that sort of thing. But lately, I've just felt more of a desire to find the source material where I can. I've always gotten it when it's come out officially in like print, but I've always been a little bit reluctant to do the online translations, only because I've had some bad experiences with those where I've had bad translations or very inconsistent translations. So it's really nice getting translations that are number one done by one person, and by somebody who has a maybe a little bit more of an investment of interest in the material. So and that's not to say that there aren't other good translation sites out there. There are a lot of really great translators out there that I've encountered. It's just that I've had some experiences where I haven't enjoyed something that I've read because of the translation, and it takes so much time and effort to translate. I don't think it's necessarily the fault of the translators. I just am somebody that I don't know. I find I really prefer the sort of printed, handed to me on a silver platter kind of thing. I'm maybe a little bit lazy as a reader, so but I would say now that I'm sort of getting more into this, it's worth it. It's worth going to the source material as online translations and encountering it there. You learn a lot more. You get a lot of the content is more explicitly stated, and it's just I don't know. I think it's a slightly richer experience. And if you do like the movies and the shows, which I do, it's kind of fun to sit down and watch like a series, and then grab the translation and do them together. And it kind of gives you a little more fuel. Like if it's a really long book, I mean, I don't know how everybody else is, but for me, I kind of got to plan my reading accordingly. And if I don't plan well, I'll abandon something like halfway through. So with stuff that I'm passionate about, like wuxia, I like to make sure I really plan it so that I go from point A to point B and finish it. And so I find if I do that alongside the series, that gives me a little more steam. They kind of like feed off each other. Where I'm interested in the book because I'm interested in the series, but I'm more interested in the series because I've been reading the book. So it's just a really great way to encounter it, and it also clarifies a lot because if you watch these series, especially the ones that are like 50 episodes or so, they can throw, even though it's done over a long period, they can throw so much at you and things can turn so quickly that it's easy to miss things. And I find if you read it, it's a little easier to follow along. So again, those are my thoughts. It's a wuxia novel, the Seven Killers by Gulong. This is really enjoyable. Translation by Deathblade. And the I Shall Seal the Heavens, which is an ongoing translation at Wuxiaworld. They have a bunch of them. They have one called Coiling Dragon that's good. They got a bunch of other translations. They have some other wuxia translations there too, but they also have a lot of the Immortal Hero translations. And I think that they're totally worth checking out. If you like wuxia, check them out. If you like fantasy, if you're just a fan of regular like Tolkien type fantasy and stuff like that, I think that this stuff will appeal to you if you give it a chance. If you've ever been on Netflix and you've seen like a Chinese, wuxia or Immortal Hero movie on there that seems to be based in myth and legend a little bit or have some fantasy elements, that's kind of what this stuff is. And so I don't know. I think that it really resonates with me as a fan of fantasy. It resonates with me. So I think there's more appeal there for people who might not realize that there's this whole well of a kind of fantasy literature that's a little bit different than what you might have encountered if you've mainly been reading stories that were written in English. So I will let you go because I'm trying to keep these short. And I do apologize again for the phone. I just didn't want to stop and start again because I already had Steam, and I like to keep these things going. I don't like to edit my videos. I like them to be kind of genuine. If I stop them, I don't come back to them for a couple of days, and I didn't want to do that in this case. So I will talk to you next time. I should say we just released the Sex of the Martial World book for Ogre Gate. I'm going to have a video about that. I'll talk about it a little bit. And I'm probably going to be doing some more reviews. I'm writing a Brave Archer 3 article right now, and then after I finish that, I will try to get back on and do another review. And I just want to make sure I give myself time to write the article because I like to put a little bit of thought into them. So I will talk to you later and have a great day.